Hello dear listener, please subscribe to our channel. Enjoy watching. I always thought I was a good judge of character. It's something I prided myself on. After all, I'd seen it all, right? I'd been in the Navy, faced down danger, and navigated the political undercurrents of private security work for years. I was used to dealing with liars, thieves, and manipulators, people who wore masks as easily as they wore their suits. But none of that prepared me for the betrayal that would unfold in my own home. My name is John Carlson, and what I'm about to tell you isn't just a story of revenge. It's the story of how a man learned that nothing is truly sacred, nothing, especially love. It all started innocently enough. My life wasn't glamorous, but it was comfortable. I had a stable career as a private security consultant, enough to provide for my wife, Mia, and our 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Mia was everything I could have wanted, beautiful, kind-hearted, and fiercely intelligent. At least, that's what I thought. We'd been married for 10 years, and over that time, I thought I knew her inside and out. Mia was an open book, someone who spoke her mind, never kept secrets, never gave me any reason to doubt her. But the cracks began to appear gradually, like a small hairline fracture in a window that you don't notice until the whole thing shatters. It started with the little things. Mia's phone. It was always within arm's reach, never out of her sight. She'd go to bed early, leaving it beside her pillow, and she'd never let it leave her hand when she went to the bathroom. I tried not to think much of it. After all, she's my wife. I trusted her implicitly, and after everything we'd been through, raising Lily together, buying our home, building our lives, I was too blinded by my own complacency to think she'd betray me. But then came the strange looks. I'm not talking about the ones that women give men when they're trying to hide something. No, these were different. Mia's smiles were tight, forced. Her kisses were quick, like she was rushing through them, waiting for something or someone else. And then, the late nights at work. I'm going out with the girls, excuses that always seemed to pop up at the most inconvenient times. Mia had never been much of a social butterfly, so these outings felt off, like a piece of a puzzle that didn't quite fit. One evening, after a long day of security checks on some corporate clients, I got home earlier than expected. I thought I'd surprise Mia. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Lily was already in bed, and there was no sign of Mia in the kitchen or living room. I wandered upstairs, where I found her sitting on the bed, texting someone. I paused at the doorway, wondering why the hell I hadn't noticed this sooner. She was so absorbed in the screen that she didn't hear me approach. I saw the name on the message, Victor. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Victor. It was a name I hadn't heard in years. Victor Grant was someone I used to trust. A fellow Navy man, we had served together in several operations overseas. After I left the service, he became a private contractor, moving in the circles of high-end security and intelligence. Mia had met him at one of those charity events I never attended. I remembered her telling me about him, a handsome, smooth-talking, well-connected businessman. I hadn't thought much of it at the time. But now, seeing her text him like this, something clicked. My heart sank. Before I could process it fully, she looked up, startled. "John, what are you doing here?" she asked, trying to hide the phone behind her back. I didn't say anything at first. I just watched her. I could feel the blood rising in my face, the rage bubbling up, but I forced myself to stay calm. "I thought I'd come home early and see my wife," I said, my voice measured but cold. "But I guess you're busy." She stood up quickly, too quickly, and dropped the phone onto the bed. "It's not what you think, John." I didn't believe her. I couldn't. I knew what I had seen. I walked over to the bed and picked up the phone, my hand trembling. Mia tried to grab it from me, but I held it out of her reach. The text was simple, innocuous even, "Can't wait to see you tonight. Same time." But my stomach churned. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. I didn't need to read the rest of the messages to know what was going on. Mia was having an affair with Victor. It wasn't just betrayal, it was a goddamned calculated assault on my life, my family, my trust. The woman I had devoted myself to for years, who I'd risked my life for, had been lying to me. To us. To Lily. "I'm sorry, John," she said, her voice trembling. But it didn't feel like real remorse. It felt like an excuse. "I never meant for you to find out this way. It just happened." That's when I saw it. The guilt. The shame. But underneath it, I saw something else, fear. She wasn't just sorry for what she had done. She was scared. Not of losing me, but of something else. I didn't confront her more that night. I didn't scream or yell. Instead, I let it simmer, watching her squirm, watching her try to make excuses. And I knew I needed to bide my time. I wasn't about to let them get away with it. But I also knew that confronting them head-on would be too simple. I needed to make them suffer, make them earn the punishment. The next few weeks were a blur of surveillance and subtle manipulation. I tapped into my connections from the security world, digging into Victor's finances, his relationships, his business dealings. I needed dirt. And I found it. Victor was in debt up to his neck, using high-risk financial deals and shady investments to cover his tracks. His empire was built on sand. Mia, on the other hand, had been playing both sides of the game, slowly siphoning money out of our joint accounts, hiding assets, all while pretending to be the loving wife. So, I did what I do best, I devised a plan. And it was going to be cruel. I started feeding Mia misinformation. I planted the seeds of doubt. I made her believe that her secret was about to be exposed. But I didn't do it directly. Instead, I engineered a situation where she thought Victor had turned on her, where she thought he was going to leave her for another woman. I made her believe that the man she was willing to betray me for was now betraying her. At the same time, I started pulling strings on Victor. I manipulated his business partner into a high-risk, illegal deal, one that would cause him to lose everything. I fed false financial data to his investors, sent threatening messages from anonymous accounts, and watched as the walls began to close in on him. But the real kicker? I made sure Mia knew about it all. I let her believe that she was losing both the man she loved and her wealth. Slowly, I turned her world upside down. The night finally came. Mia and Victor were both cornered. I invited them to a final meeting, Victor to sign the paperwork that would absolve him of his financial ruin, Mia to reconcile with me. It was all a trap. I watched from the shadows as they arrived, both of them unaware that the other was in on the deal. Mia looked at me, confusion in her eyes, but also a spark of hope. She thought she was getting the best of me. I stepped into the room, calm, collected. And then, I laid it out for them. "I know everything," I said. They froze. I told them how I had known about the affair from the start. How I had manipulated their every move, how I had fed them lies and watched them destroy themselves. But it wasn't just that. I told them how I'd stolen everything, how I'd drained their accounts, sabotaged their businesses, ruined their reputations. But the real shocker was this: I had no intention of destroying them completely. Not yet. I handed Mia the papers. Divorce papers. But I didn't just want to take everything from her. I wanted her to watch as her world crumbled, as Victor's wealth disappeared into thin air. She thought she was going to walk away with everything, but I had made sure there was nothing left for her. And for Victor? He was left in the hole he dug himself. His reputation destroyed, his assets wiped clean, his life in shambles. The next day, I received an anonymous call. It was from someone who claimed to be a close associate of Mia's, someone who had been in the know about the entire affair. "I hope you're ready for the truth," the voice said, before hanging up. The truth? What could be worse than what I'd just done? The truth was this: Mia hadn't just been cheating on me. She had orchestrated this entire thing, using Victor to destroy me from the inside out. The affair wasn't her downfall, it was the beginning of her long, twisted game. The destruction I'd wrought wasn't just revenge. It was her ultimate plan. She hadn't betrayed me out of love, she had done it to claim everything. And just like that, the woman I had spent years trusting was nothing but a memory. If you leave a comment, tell us what you think about the story you heard. It's important to us and will help us find and tell stories that you find interesting. Thank you for watching us.